Hello, my name is Bob Davidson. I'm the Director of Public Relations at SSILM Cardinal Glennon Children's Medical Center. I have the responsibility of working with the school partnership nurses who provide services in the Catholic schools in the Archdiocese on health-related issues and questions. I'd like to spend the next few minutes talking to you about a few simple steps that can be taken to ensure the creation of a safe and healthy environment for the employees and for the students within your school community. In particular, I'll be addressing the danger that employees in the school setting may face in regard to exposure to blood-borne pathogens. Blood-borne pathogens are organisms or viruses in the blood that can cause disease in humans. They're spread by direct or indirect contact with the organism by droplet, when a spray of moisture is sent into the air, or when germs remain suspended in the air. Blood-borne pathogens, which most people are familiar with, include, but are not limited to, the hepatitis B virus and HIV virus. While this sounds serious, exposure to these blood-borne pathogens can be prevented by staff members following some very simple steps outlined in an exposure control plan. Your school has such a plan in place. This plan is simply designed to protect workers who are at risk of exposure to blood-borne pathogens. It's been developed to further our goal of making sure that the work environment is safe for all. Let me share how your school is preventing staff members from exposure to these potentially harmful pathogens. Let's begin by describing the emergency response team that each school has been asked to identify. It consists of a limited number of employees, 3 to 6 individuals in the school community who have been designated to provide care to students when they are hurt at school due to accidents or injuries in which blood or bodily fluids are involved. Your principal will inform you of the team members. Team members in most schools will include the school nurse, secretary, principals, some members of the teaching staff, and the custodial staff. Now let's consider some specific incidents that demonstrate how this team operates. Suppose a student vomits in the classroom or in the hall, or suppose a student experiences a cut on the playground and that cut is bleeding. These incidents, common occurrences in any school setting, hold serious risks for exposure to blood-borne pathogens if not handled correctly. What should be done in these situations according to the school's exposure control plan? If the staff member first on the scene of such an incident is not a member of the emergency response team, he or she should immediately summon a member of the emergency response team. The staff member on the scene should comfort the student and make sure that other students do not come into contact with the sick or injured student. However, this individual should not take any action that would put her or him into contact with the blood or the bodily fluid. Instead, members of the emergency response team should deal with the sick or injured child and the bodily fluids that result from the illness or injury. Let me emphasize this point. Staff who are not members of the emergency response team must not come into contact in any way with the bodily fluids. The individuals on the emergency response team are the only staff who will be asked to deal with these incidents. They will treat all incidents involving blood and bodily fluids as potentially infectious. In responding to an illness or injury that we just described, members of the emergency response team have attended a special training session that outlined the precautions they need to take to protect themselves and others from blood-borne pathogens. These precautions include the use of personal protective equipment such as gloves, gowns, and masks as they deal with bodily fluids, the use of appropriate containers for disposal of contaminated materials, careful housekeeping practices that include containing and cleaning the spill using paper towels, applying a disinfectant to the contaminated area, cleaning bathrooms thoroughly, etc. Careful hand washing. Hand washing is the single most effective means of preventing the spread of disease. Hands are washed between contacts and after any contact with blood and body fluids. Hands are also washed after removing protective gloves. All members of the emergency response team have had special training in these precautions and have been offered a vaccination for hepatitis B for further protection. So as you can see, the members of the emergency response team take careful precautions as they deal with possible infectious disease. This is the best way to ensure the health and safety of everyone within the school community. In the event a member of the emergency response team or any other member of the school staff is exposed to blood or bodily fluids by accident, They should notify the principal immediately, and the principal would take the necessary steps to protect the individual as a follow-up to such an exposure. Individuals who are not members of the emergency response team must always remember to allow this team to do its work. Do not try to deal with or clean up blood or bodily fluids in any way. Stay away and let the team members handle the situation. Of course, there are things that all staff members can do to prevent the spread of any type of infectious disease, such as colds, flu, etc. Some steps include proper hand washing, using tissues for sneezing and coughing, proper disposal of tissues. We hope this information has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the School Partnership nurses by calling 314-268-2752. They want to work with you in creating a safe and healthy environment for all the members of our Catholic school communities. Thank you.